facilitators. I'd like to thank you for your time and for giving me this space. Thank you. I'd like to express my gratitude to God and to this beautiful culture in Brazil that vibrates with its joy and happiness. And personally, I think you don't need to go to another planet. Brazil is like another planet, which I deeply admire. I'd like to thank LACNIC's team, the facilitators, not only for the capacity building work they have done, but also for allowing me to write my story. This is a dream for me. So this topic is to show you how the cooperative where I work has evolved. This is an ISP in the south of Bolivia that has faced different challenges. We have had set goals and we have had dreams. And now finally we have the IPv6 protocol and the advantages using this protocol implies. So why IPv6 at more than 4,000 meters above sea level? My city is located on a slope, and in fact the core of the city is 4,000 meters above sea level. Some are a bit lower and some are a bit higher than 4,000 meters, sorry. But the mere fact of being at that altitude does pose its challenges. Our main activity is mining. Mining has been an activity ever since the colonial times. This is something that we also share with other cities like Cusco and others. Now, my city didn't want to wait for the government or other capital investments. My city decided since 1972 to invest its own capital. Many people, common citizens, decided to invest money, about $1,000. They worked together as a community and managed to bring Japanese cooperative in order to implement the first telephone switch. This was in order to take fixed telephone to each home. However, the vision of these people at the time went far beyond that. It was to connect our city with the rest of the world. So after having the analog telephone switch, we managed to implement a digital switch. This was technology from Israel. In 2002, we began with connections, dial-up connections. I have been working in my cooperative right from the early times with the internet, and in fact I feel like a bit old because we began with dial-up connections. We worked with other types of speeds. We had a WAN link of 112 kilobits per second. So this is how we began. But users were welcomed this. We even had there was a demand for cable TV, and we had an HFC network. And because we had a copper network in the city, we implemented ADSL technology, ADSL 1, 2, 2+. And this was expanded not only in the city, but also to the neighboring populations. And of course, we were well aware that with ADSL there were limitations. Our users no longer were able to have the speeds they required. So we started to do some planning, to dream, and to implement FTTH technology. So the board and all the workers started to dream about having this technology, not only to include one of the sectors of the city, but to cover the entire city, to take fiber optic to the home in the entire city. So this was an improvement to the original ADSL technology. In FTTH, we have managed to have the very best rates in the country in terms of speed and in price, always thinking about the user, always with the user in mind, with economy and with quality of service. So we wanted to achieve the same thing with FTTH. We're a small ISP with big dreams. We are competing with giants out there in the market, but the improvement on our side and the loyalty of our users allow us to continue growing every day. I was saying a while ago that in 2019, more or less, the board decided to illuminate the entire city. We have a target market and a market about 246,000 inhabitants, and we want to include as many users as possible. We want to offer good service, but we didn't remain at that. We also are considering taking this to a radius of 50 kilometers. My city was also far apart in terms of mining, agriculture, and tourist zones. So there started to be a demand for services. So as the optic fiber network began to expand, we also built this in the populations in an area about 50 kilometers around. So these are the different populations that were included. The ones we see over here: Santa Lucia, Gallara, La Palca, San Antonio, Miraflores, Tarapaya, Oruari, Carachipampa. So all this has allowed us to have a good coverage and therefore a good support that can allow us to have this captive market. We have therefore evolved from an analog switch to a digital switch, then dial-up, ADSL technology, and we were requiring convergence. We had to make efforts in that regard, and finally we needed something that was very important, the cherry on the cake. We needed IPv6. Prior to IPv6, we had this network. This is an optic fiber ring. This was with fiber optics, but not convergence and not with IPv6. So the IPv6 planning team, Carolina Espinosa, Enrique Rioja, and the entire team designed a scheme based on a /32. We divide this into a /40 to cover the region that we wish to include. Then we covered with a /40 specifically for clients to do prefix delegation. So from then on, we started to do segmenting of subnetworks with WAN technology, CPE, and for infrastructure.
And having a reserved space. And then we started segmenting for PPPoE with the different typologies, both in HTTPS and in ADSL. And we have ADSL because we have people that are used to this technology, but most of them are with HTTPS, PTPH, FTTH. So, and we started, we use /64 in PPoE and PoE. And likewise, we anticipated prefixes for our core and our infrastructure. And then for servers, for services, for management. And finally, we achieved this platform converging. We anticipate, we plan CGNAT for us. We have CGNAT for IPv4, and there you have the machines that are giving IPv6, both PoE and PPO. So just an anecdote, when we didn't have CGNAT and we had IPv4, we tried to lease a /21. At the time, they would charge us $230,000. Absolutely impossible. It didn't make sense. So we started working hard with IPv6. So as I was telling you, we have two machines, NS5501, that is a server for DHCP IPv6 and then ASR 9001, also DHCP v6. These are screenshots of final, and here you see you can test your IPv6 connectivity. And there you have and the same with the tools that LACNIC has given us, and also validating that it is being implemented with IPv6. This is the total traffic, IPv6 and IPv4, and about 15% already is in IPv6. If we compare this, the pink line is the IPv4 traffic, and underneath at the bottom is IPv6. A short and medium term goal is to be able so, as I was telling you, the pink line represents the IPv4 traffic, and at the bottom, the green one is IPv6 traffic. In the medium and short term, this may revert. There will be more IPv6 than IPv4. This is a chart of APNIC where you see the fingerprint of IPv6. We just implemented it in 2004. And in 2025, see how it has grown. So during the implementation, we had some problems, including compatibility. Although the ONT said that they would accept IPv6, that was not the case, and we have to update it. And we also had problems when in the corporate world, where sometimes in some places people need more training and disseminating the benefits of IPv6, and we have to revisit our provisioning systems. Some vendors have preferred by default to turn IPv6 off. So that was my presentation. Thank you for your time, and I'll be very happy to answer any questions you may have. Thank you. Thank you.